Is there a way for the patients to drive adoption?
Actually, there are many different approaches. We cannot share grass slides to multiple people. There's one slide which pathologists made a diagnosis. They want to keep it because this is a record.
Do you think this is gonna pick up? Is it already picking up in other countries?
It is a process. If you don't have those resources, if you don't have the budget, you have to do it through the static image, and it's fine. But there should be the time and opportunity for you to install. If you're really willing to and wishing and hoping and keep negotiating to your hospital or government, wherever, it always suddenly a way pops up.
So how is digital pathology currently different in Asia?
We need something in Asia. There was nothing in Asia at that moment, and I initiated this movement. We are trying to create those, patient advocacy as a community. I think, like I say, importance of the pathology is that we need to be visible. Who really needs improvement of the medicine?
Learn about the newest digital pathology trends in science and industry. Meet the most interesting people in the niche and gain insights relevant to your own projects. Here is where pathology meets computer science. You are listening to the Digital Pathology Podcast with your host, Dr. Alexandra Zhurov.
I'm here. We are at Path Visions 2024, the DPA conference, annual conference, and I'm here with Junya Fukuoka. What is your position at the Asian Society of Digital Pathology that was recently founded? Are you the president?
I am serving as a president at this moment. I initiated this movement about a year and a half ago, and then I just talked to my friend. They're also the same as me, the believer of the digital pathology, and then they suddenly agree with the idea. Oh, let's start this. Yeah, we need something in Asia. There was nothing in Asia at that moment, and all of those people who want to know, who wants to learn something about the digital pathology and those advanced technology, they have to go to either Europe or America, right?
So you're also a practicing pathologist,
yes,
right?
I am. Yes.
Tell me about where you practice, what's your specialty, and a little bit about you, about the president of the Asian Society of Digital Pathology.
Well, I'm not like that kind of president, but
you are. And today is the president election day, so they were interviewing the DPA podcast people, the Beyond the Scope people were interviewing all the past presidents of the Digital Pathology Association.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I will take a president of the DPA as well next year.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
Well, anyway, so I am a practicing pathologist. I have two affiliations now. One is professor of the Nagasaki University. It's a national university. I mainly do research and education there. But of course, I do the practice as well. And also the other one is Kameda Medical Center. That is one of the largest hospital inside Japan, nearby the Tokyo. And I do have those many fellows there doing a practice, and we are 100% digital
That's
diagnosis.
where Andrei works, right?
Yes. He's my right arm.
So Andrei Bichkov is a pathologist as well, whom I met online many times a couple of years ago, but in person at US CAP this year. He presented the use of ChatGPT poster, which was a survey of over 100 pathologists, and I took part of the survey as well.
So you recognize
he
that he
gave me the
exists.
Poster. I have the poster, a physical poster at home.
Yeah, before that, many people said, does he exist? He might be a chatbot.
Right.
With the faces, yeah. So this is how we started. And so I'm doing a practice as well. So I do diagnosis, and I'm teaching, I'm doing research.
Asian Society of Digital Pathology, who are the members of the society? How many countries does it encompass, and how is it gonna be? Because it's brand new. You just guys have had the first annual meeting. I don't know if you can call it annual meeting because it has not been a year since the
annual congress, actually.
Annual congress.
Right.
Yeah. So who are the members, and how are you guys going to be active in Asia, not only spreading the word, actually being boots on the ground and increasing adoption of digital pathology?
So a little bit over half are pathologists, actually. Yeah. So we started from the pathology side, and we have a computer scientist, and we have many vendors as a member, and also a student, resident. There are many actually young people are actually currently a member of the ASDP, and we're expanding this, not only to those pathologists and also the vendors. we would expand in this hopefully to the patient and also some of oncologists, because
Tell
that's
me
important.
how.
Because we are trying to create those patient advocacy as a committee to really start communicating with the patient, because I think, like I say, importance of the pathology is that we need to be visible to the patient who really needs the improvement of the medicine. And we are, like I say, providing final diagnosis as like I say, very important final judgment of the disease. But not many patients does not know, right? Do not know about us. They feel like they say, oh, oncologists are making final diagnosis. So we need to just be visible, and what we are doing.
What we're doing is a gateway to treatment. Like
It
without
is.
this diagnosis, there is no treatment. The
There you go.
oncologist is not gonna know what to treat you for.
That's true. There you go.
Right,
So yes. So that has to be known to the people.
So how are you guys gonna do it? Let me give you a little bit of context, because I was asking myself this question, like, is there a way for the patients to drive adoption? Because obviously there is a patient benefit. If it's something required by the patients, it has a different way in the patient care and healthcare system than a doctor asking for a nicer tool to work on, if they actually can do the work on the old tool as well. If it comes from the patient, but that was my question, like if we are still like an invisible specialty, how do they even know that, and my point was like, that they can get access to their the image of their tissue? And I was asking around, like, how could the patient in the US do that? And the official route is, you ask, like you fill a form and you get a glass slide. I'm like, okay, because the image is actually created by the hospital. It may be the property of the hospital, and first of all, they may not be able even to digitize if they didn't go digital, or they may not want to release this image to you. So if you have this glass slide and you want to share it with someone, like, where are you going to digitize it? How do you guys see it? How do you see the patient advocacy programs? Which angle do you want to approach it from?
Actually, there are many different approaches, I believe. So we're just start thinking it, which one is the most effective. But first thing we can tell is that, like you said, we cannot share glass slides to multiple people. So this is like one slide which pathologists made a diagnosis. They want to keep it because this is a record. Under the cap, the guidelines rule, they say that we have to keep those the slides for 10 years. So you cannot easily pass to the many people. That's a different story.
Even if you want to, it's gonna take forever. So
it is.
I recently interviewed a lawyer who is a medical malpractice lawyer. She started using Path Presenter for cases where pathology is involved, because she said that the process of showing the glass slide to multiple pathologists, this would like take months or even up to years. Shipping, getting the information back from the pathologist, because it was not digital.
I actually did the consultation yesterday, so it's so easy because it's a digital images, right? You just anonymize and send to the pathologist who is specialized in that field. How many days I got the answer is just 1 hour. See,
Yeah,
that?
because
just hour.
it's easy.
Yeah,
like
it is.
They look at it and they know, because they have the expertise. They let you know, like whichever way of communicating it can be instantaneous almost.
So this is a direct benefit to the patient, right? Because we would provide a better diagnosis in a quicker way, and also this really decides the strategy of the treatment, right? So this is the direct benefit for the patient. So I think these information is so important for the patient, but this is not really split. So we need to inform that, okay, digital pathology is helping patient to improve the practice in this way. First one is, easiest one is consultation, of course, including everything. Yeah, that's probably the direct benefit. And also second one is maybe AI. Some of the tasks like counting something or evaluating or reproducing something, which is not doable by human. It's not really the task of the human. We are using calculator for everything, right? We cannot use, like, let's say, just head to calculate all of those complex numbers, because we know the calculator does a reproducible and accurate answer. It's the same thing. The name of the AI is actually exaggerated name. It's too much actually. So it's a computer calculation, but it does better the task, rather than eyeball judgment. So we're going to use it and then provide the data is definitely giving a better answers. So for those things which we are clear that these are definitely better than human eyes, we need to use those devices. But for that, patient has to know it is the situation, and we need voices from the patient. We need those the evaluation by those accurate computer analysis or whatever. Let's say for breast cancer, we need to have those calculation of the immunohistochemistry for the biomarkers. But probably that inter-observer variability of those counting
if we are 70% concordant, we're
See that?
so concordant.
Yeah.
It means
30% no,
is
right?
not concordant.
So that's the reality. Maybe even less for some of the markers.
Probably.
This is a reality. We have to do something on it. But
No,
we need
I have a
voice.
strong opinion on
Right, you do.
trying to, I call it guesstimation, and like you try to train
right.
people to guesstimate better. It's physiologically impossible for a human to be consistent at those
There you go.
guesstimations. So
Yeah.
to me, I want AI to do that for us.
Sure.
And then the human observer, the pathologist, is looking, okay, is it actually analyzing in the right spot? Is it analyzing the right cells? But you don't need to count them or
Yeah.
guesstimate them.
So there's a lot of things we already know that computer is better than human for some of the tasks. I'm not talking about the whole task. It's impossible by the computer. So it just use those tasks, but to do so we need to digitize. So digital pathology is a gate to have those improvement, right? So we are just sharing all of those information to the people who really needs those reach to the knowledge. And in our society is a society who does those education to the people who needs, including patients.
So how is digital pathology currently different in Asia than in Europe and in North America? And how do you think you're going to be driving the adoption differently? Because it's a different world. Asia, I visited once, and it's a different world. It's like multiple levels, culturally, developmentally, like a lot of countries, a lot of space also, like North America is 2 countries.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah, how is it, what are the differences and how are you going to be?
One word, it's diversity. So there's no other area, has this many diversity. So that's Asia. So we have a multiple language, even do not use alphabet letter either, right?
I need to pause here.
Okay.
About the different languages. We have a special assistant that is actually, you said it's mandatory for the Asian society.
It is.
This is a live transcription and translation, and we're currently running me being transcribed into English on one side, and it is showing in Japanese. So this is obviously available for all the different languages, which I think is what a unifying tool for an area where there's no way there is going to be the same level of understanding in English for people who have different backgrounds, different educational systems, and everything is different. So yeah, AI and technology making it possible to unite and get people together from such diverse regions.
Right. So I feel like they said this diversity usually considered as a negative factor. I took it as a positive opportunity. So by overcoming this diversity, we can use this, knowledge and the tips to many different things. So this is, you said, as you said, we are using digital device and actually AI behind, right? But we use this type of the knowledge to multiple different things. Consider this as a type of the chatbot for to help the pathology diagnosis, who has a limited knowledge, right? Who has limited resources, but we have those, help of the chat bot who already was trained with, the expert ideas. Then you could have a differential diagnosis right away, something like that. So you need help. So you, need to have a skill to judge if this is hallucination or good, true, answer. So that's another story. But definitely you would have a better source of the informations provided by those technologies. So I think, like I said, this is the kind of a tips you can use for multiple different ways. And Asia is, as I said, it's a full of the diversity, and to provide the knowledge, to unify the practice, it's very difficult. But if we do that,
can you even do that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Because what we are doing is similar. We do the patient care, and choices are not that so many. Of course, there are some differences by the countries, because of the regulation, whatever, their insurance, the system. But basically what we do is having quite a limited choices for the treatment most of the time. So then it's the same story. We use those, the devices to really standardize the practice. So whatever you go, then that you need to know what's the advanced one, what's available in which country. That does not harm you. You need to know about it. And then if you're not in that level, if you're in the developing country and you do not have those advanced technology, but you still know already that this is available in which country, you do the effort to install those, right? As much as possible with whatever the method is, maybe negotiation to the government, whatever. There should be a lot of way, but what is most important is information, right information in localized languages. So that's how we are providing. That's how we are thinking, how to the function the ASDP or those societies are.
So before we talk about annual conference that I want to ask you about, there are two technologies that I would like to ask your opinion on, and how do you think they might help or might not help in Asia? One thing is working with static images. So this is something I've noticed when I interviewed Dr. Talat Zara from Pakistan, and she is dedicated to research on doing AI on static images. And basically what she said, there are no resources for scanners, but you can have a camera and you can have a static image, and now there are algorithms available that have been developed on the whole slide images from all those scanners, but they can run on static images, and that's something that is a lot more accessible to the diagnosing pathologist. Do you think this is gonna pick up? Is it already picking up in other countries? Like, do you see it being used, or not necessarily AI, but like leveraging static images? Because I think the moment scanners, a couple of years ago, it was all scanner hype, whole slide images, but for many countries it's a prohibitive cost.
Sure.
But digitizing of images, you can basically use your phone. So tell me your opinion on that.
You know what? Whatever of course, there's a difference between the whole slide image and static images. But I did the same thing for the static images before I installed the whole slide images. It is a process. If you don't have those resources, if you don't have the budget, you have to do it through the static image, and it's fine. But there should be the time and opportunity for you to install. If you're really willing to and wishing and hoping and keep negotiating to your hospital or government, whoever, it always suddenly a way pops up, and then you just install it. But beforehand, how you prepare yourself? Whatever you can do, you cannot just directly jump to the very expensive, scanner at all. But if you're doing those similar things onto the static image, that's already a digital pathology. So, this is a process what we all did. So, what she is doing is not so much different from us. Yeah, it's already in process.
Another thing that I have witnessed one time in Africa when I visited Ethiopia is something, I don't know if it's officially called like that, but like jumping over a technology step. I saw that with the telephones in Africa. So obviously Europe, North America, there were telephone lines, right? Everybody had the normal line telephones, right? And that was not the case in Africa. They basically didn't do it, they waited, and then suddenly everybody had cell phones.
Correct.
So they basically skipped this whole mega infrastructure investment because they just didn't have the resources. But then a consumer technology came to play, and you just said that, suddenly something appears and you can embark on a journey that others need to take an intermediate step for. So, and I see it in digital pathology, I see it with the direct to digital imaging. What I've seen, there were several vendors doing either direct fresh tissue imaging, like for example Muse microscopy. There is digital staining from unstained slides. There are different technologies around making digital images available directly from tissue and basically skipping the scanner step. So what are your thoughts on that?
That is a very good point. So I would say those skipping all the complex processes. Like I say, look at the tissue. How we look at the microscope, we have to fix it. We will embed it into the paraffin, and just do the dissection.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and also a lot of those work has to have highly skilled humans, which is very difficult to have as a resources, right? And those poor resource countries, they don't have it. Then it's the same story as you said for the smartphone. They can skip it. Just jump to the pseudo, H&E created from like a muse, you said.
That's UV,
so also
UV light
right,
generating the image. There are options to generate fluorescent images. But the Muse one is the device that's commercially available. I think that's the most mature out of the other solutions that they've seen.
There are several others doing similar. So those, the approach, like let's say one in America is what's called Phoebe. It's also the similar, the approach. Whatever the device is, used, you can skip those, processing of the tissue, to creating a tissue and also block, and then but you could, get those images right away. And that will shortcut the TAT as well. So those new technology may develop well in a low resource country because of the experience, because they basically don't have approach to the one we have in laboratory, right? And like smartphone, it's happening. Like let's say, I will give you an example. So inside Asia, before we established a society, we didn't know much about what's going on inside Asia. We know after the survey research among the whole Asian country was that there are several countries inside Asia who does show very much advanced in digital pathology. Like Kuwait or Saudi Arabia, and of course, South Korea and China.
Can you estimate the level of adoption in terms of what percentage of hospitals are digital for pathology?
Yeah, and especially in Kuwait, it's about 50%. It's
half of the
See,
hospitals.
look at the US. It's less than 5%, right? Like let's say Japan, we started digital pathology very early days, but if you look at the institutions who use digital pathology for the practice, about 1%.
Okay.
Believe me.
So it's a spread, crazy spread, like half of the hospitals in Kuwait. Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
So diversity again.
It
is.
Everything.
It is. So how was the Congress, your annual Congress? I am holding the flyer for the second one, and we're going to invite you to the second one. But let's talk about the first one. When was it?
It was in this year, October 2nd to 4th. So we established society this year.
A month ago.
Yeah, actually, the society establishment was in February in Singapore. But when we just succeed to open up the bank account is so recent. So we couldn't get even a member,
dues.
Yeah, exactly. The whole, like let's say, August. So we have only 2 months before the on-site event, but we got over 400 attendees, and all of the 45 booths are sold out. And actually, the attendee came from 29 countries.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and there was.
Do you know how many countries are in Asia?
In Asia, about 50 plus something.
Okay.
Yeah, and also one more thing is that we had abstract application about 90 something, 91, I believe.
Oh my goodness, almost 100 abstracts.
Yes, for the first year.
This is
and
amazing.
we did review all the abstract and decide which one to go to the oral and the stuff. And to figure out that most of the science level was quite high. It's almost equivalent, maybe some are even better than the one we see in America or Europe.
This is amazing.
So that we didn't know that we had many talented people, almost like a superstar in this field, but we didn't know each other because they are going to America and Europe to attend to the meeting. So we have no network. We didn't know anybody inside Asia. But now we start knowing each other, start making network, and this network is a source of all the new idea brainstorming. Now you get an idea how we would contribute to this field.
This is amazing. Basically unifying all those people and getting all those developments in one place. And the success of your first meeting, like 400 on your first that you gathered in less than half a year, it just speaks for the need of a specific Asian society. And now with the networking, your guys are gonna grow exponentially and it's going to be amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if anybody is interested, and you should be, the Asian Society of Digital Pathology Annual Congress next year is October 10th to the 12th in Mumbai, India. I hope to be there as well.
Yeah, check our website, which is asdp.ai. Become
you guys
a member.
Are advanced.ai.
.ai, of course. There you go. And also, I would tell you, if you're from the Asia, if you are also considering a global researcher, a global doctor, this is not our society, this is a society of yours. And you can contribute, you can be a member, contribute as much as possible because this is designed for you. It's not ours. I initiated, but it is all for the people who is excited about this, who needs this. Why we have this success was all of those, dedicated, board members and committee members and other members, even not a member or student, even student, they contributed to build this.
Pathologist is an important doctor. Thank you so much.